This is going to be a brief lesson on the modern day untouchables. So you may be someone who is in class and you're trying to finish your guided notes, or this may be brand new to you. So hopefully I'm not going too fast. But if you have any questions, just message me on Schoology. I can go over any information that you need. So this is going to be on the modern day untouchables, or the Dalits, should I say, in the caste system, which is in India. Okay, it's actually not. The caste system is illegal now. However, it's still kind of practiced. And when you think of India historically, and when we get into the ancient civilization of India within your textbook, the caste system was pretty prevalent. Okay, pretty important, and is very unfortunate, especially today, for the people who are considered untouchables. Okay, and like I had just said, in the caste system is no longer legal. However, and that's because in 1950, which really wasn't very long ago, 71 years ago, India adopted a constitution which made it illegal to discriminate on the basis of a person's caste. Now, that constitution was adopted. However, unfortunately, it's still not um, practiced as the law says it should be. So, what is the caste system? We'll learn more about this as over the next month or so. But the caste system is a structure. Okay, so it's like a social structure. And when you think of the word caste, you can think of the word class. Okay, so when we think of social classes, um, even just as simple as the rich, the middle class, and the poor, it's similar to that. Okay, but it's a little more complex. And as you can see, there are five different uh, classes, okay, within the caste system. So the very top, the most important people in Indian society are the priests, okay, but they're known as the Brahmins. And then next down, you'll see the Kshatriya, which are the warriors, the Vaishya, which are the merchants, the Sudra, which are the commoners, and a commoner is someone who kind of like a peasant, okay, someone who does, they might be a laborer, okay, but kind of like common people. And those are the top four, okay. And you'll see a line here, a very bold line that separates everyone from the bottom, which is the Dalit or the untouchables. And those are the people, we're going to learn a little bit about them in the next few slides. But those are the ones at the very bottom of the totem pole, and they hold very unclean jobs that nobody would ever want to do. Okay. And again, this was made illegal in 1950, although it's still very, very real today. Now, in India, a majority of the people, and you would have learned this in your scavenger hunt that you did this week, are Hindu, which is an interesting religion. Okay, it's very, very different from the religions that we are familiar with. Okay, and Hindus believe in something called reincarnation. So, you know, um, whatever your religion is, if you have one, or maybe you don't have a religion, but the religions of the people around here, where what we're used to, believe in something different. Okay, after a person dies. In Hinduism, Hindus believe in reincarnation. Okay, in other words, that's when a person passes away, their soul doesn't go to like a heaven or the alternative, um, but when a person dies, their soul is reborn into another human. Okay, so let's say a doctor in who's a Hindu, he passes away, and let's say he wasn't a very good doctor, he wasn't a very good guy. Well, in Hinduism, he would be reincarnated or reborn into probably as an untouchable. Okay, so he would. Um, we'll learn a little bit more about that. So, a person's karma. So, if you ever heard the term karma, it comes from India. A person's karma or actions while they live determines what caste that soul will be born into. Okay, so how good of a person is, how well they behaved, depends on when they die, what caste. Going back to the five castes at the top, what caste they will be born into. So let's say a Dalit untouchable person is a really good person on earth, okay, when they're alive and then they pass away. Well, Hindus believe that they would then be able to be reborn as maybe a priest or maybe a warrior. Okay, so karma, like we kind of use, good karma, bad karma, when we're talking about our actions. In India, they believe that the better behaved you are, the nicer of a person you are, the the better of a life you'll have whenever you are reincarnated. If a person is born a Dalit or untouchable, it is a result of bad karma from the previous life or lives. So just like I said, if somebody is a bad person and they are believe that they're going to be reincarnated as an untouchable. And real quick, this is just a law that was passed in 1989, which is a little more recent. And not only did it make like reinstated the idea that castes were illegal, it also, in addition, made it illegal for other people to do things which are in the following. So, forcing Dalits to eat things that are inedible, dumping waste into their villages or neighborhoods, okay, basically making them garbage dumps, or forcing them into uh, forced or bonded labor. So what that means is kind of kind of like making them slaves. All right. And it also made contaminating their water source illegal, which is kind of just evil in general. Um, but also, I guess, kind of like getting rid of things like hazardous material, putting them into like the river or a pond or something like that, and then denying Dalits entrance into a public place. The question is, just like the first law, does the law work? So in 2021, does the law work today? Unfortunately, not really. Even though the law prohibits discrimination and atrocities against people born into the bottom caste, discrimination and human rights violations are still very common. So um, it's it's very unfortunate. So people who are born into this caste, as you can see, kind of in this image behind the words here, are still treated horribly. Okay, and when we learn about things like this, it is kind of sad. Um, However, it's something that I think we need to learn, and it makes us really, really humble and appreciate, you know, being in America where, you know, we our whole philosophy is the American dream. Okay, you're born in America, and you can do anything. You can be an astronaut, you can be president, you can be a doctor, you can be um, a firefighter, you can be a teacher, you can be whatever you want. Okay, unfortunately, in India and other parts of the world, people are not that fortunate. So the word Dalit means those who are unfortunate. Okay, so somebody who is unfortunate. And Dalits are expected to only marry other Dalits, so they can't marry people of another caste. And then in some rural areas, Dalits are not allowed to enter police stations to report a crime, which is very unfortunate. So if they're being robbed or something, or they were robbed, um, unfortunately, there's not anything they can do about it. Okay, because they're not allowed to go to the police um, or the law enforcement to get that taken care of. And Dalits are often prevented from getting water or entering public places like parks and temples. So they often have to, when it says getting water, it would be like clean water. Okay. Um, so or from like wells. So they have to go and they have to find their own water, which is um, often contaminated. And then Dalit children are often treated poorly in schools and are segregated. Okay, so if you were in school last week, we talked about Martin Luther King. Okay, and he went to segregated schools. So these people, there's an example right there of segregation that's going on in 2021. And last but not least, these are some of the unclean jobs that Dalits are have to perform. Okay, um, and I'm not sure exactly because I'm not an expert on this. I'm not sure what they're paid. Okay, they might be paid, or they may be given food, or they may be given other things they need by doing these jobs. But as you can imagine, it's probably not enough. Okay, so some of the jobs are tanning hides to make leather, cleaning the streets, working in the fields, scavenging, digging graves, taking care of animals, and then unclogging the sewers and cleaning dry, dry latrines. Okay, and latrines are um, simply toilets that are in the grounds. Okay, they don't um, require any water or uh, they're in the ground. Okay, won't go any further into that. And then last but not least, these are the numbers. So the number of people living in India, 1.3 billion, although it's probably higher than that. Okay, this figure, I'm not sure when this figure was taken, but 2020 we had a census, so we'll find out how many people are living in India. But I'd imagine there's more than that, and probably not everybody is accounted for in that number too. So a lot, like this is the second most populated country in the world after China. So a lot of people live in India. And then of that, over a billion people, 200 million are Dalits. So that's a lot of people, okay, that um, live as Dalits. So hopefully that helped. If you are, if you go back to Schoology, um, I put the guide and notes in there, and then at some point in Schoology there will be a quiz on this information. Thank you for watching.